All right. Hope everybody is able to see my screen. Yeah, please just confirm if you are able to see the screen. You're not able to see the screen. Okay. Yeah, I think you should be able to see the screen now. All right. Wonderful. Okay. All right, friends. Thank you. Let's proceed the class. Good evening, everyone. And yeah, today I'm going to give you a quick bite on the exploratory data analysis and the various toolkits that are available for doing this EDA. Specifically, we'll talk about something called as Pandas GUI and Spark Aura. I want to just give you a quick bite. Okay, this is not a detailed session. I just want to give you a quick bite, as I mentioned. So let us start the session. So as part of the CRISP DM, we know that the EDA part would be the very important stage of the entire CRISP ML step, right? So as part of this, we will just try to revise the CRISP ML steps, right? And we will see how to install these different, at least these couple of EDA toolkits, and both of them are Python libraries. So we will be very easily using pip install command. We will install them. And then they are used for solving data pre-processing steps. So they are more like helping you to get your EDA done at a very quick and easier way. That's basically the objective of these packages. So if I talk about data science projects, any data projects that we talk about, we need a clean and organized data. That's the first and foremost requirement. But the businesses generally give us raw data, the data which is getting generated from various sources. It will be in its raw format. So as part of the CRISP ML methodology, once we define the business objectives and understand the data, the conditions of the data primarily, and once we start collecting the data and we get data at our hand, we have to spend a lot of time in applying EDA and pre-processing steps. EDA and pre-processing steps. Data preparation. And very high importance is given to this step, because unless until your data is clean and in a specific format, further steps cannot be implemented. So here, EDA becomes very pivotal, because unless until you understand your data in much more better way, you don't know what cleaning is required. How you want to organize your data will be basically defined by the outcomes from the EDA steps. Descriptive analytics. And your EDA and data pre-processing is a manual job. We know that AutoML libraries are now being used in the industry, which basically automate the entire ML pipeline. ML pipeline. You can see AutoKeras, AutoScaleRn. These are very popular libraries which are used. So if you look into an ML pipeline is nothing but machine learning algorithm flow. So we basically do data ingestion. This is the first step. That is, you're collecting the data. Then you organize the data. Okay. Once you organize the data, you might also want to do feature engineering. And then you will decide ML model. After you decide the ML model, you train, evaluate, and tune your models. So data ingestion is a manual effort because you need to understand what are various sources you need to collect the data. And once you understand your sources, you would be basically designing your pipelines to fetch the data in batch mode or online streaming mode. There are different strategies that you will apply for getting your data. Once this step is done, you will have to try and organize your data. This is where we are talking about pre-processing will be done. Now, unless until you know what is your data, you will not be able to decide what strategy can be applied onto the data, what technique has to be applied on the data, right? So unless until this step is done, we cannot decide on this step. And it is always dynamically changing because your data will change. Hence, this part is manual. But from here, this entire part that we are looking at is automated by these auto ML libraries. Now, to make life easy for ML experts, ML engineers, a lot of libraries have come up with trying to make data pre-processing step very easy. These are nothing but your toolkits, Python toolkits for EDA. Here I have marked some of these names. These are very, very popularly used profiles, like toolkits. Pandas profiling is the first one, which is popularly used. Then we have SweetWiz. This is also very popular. It gives you these are the toolkits which help you to do a complete EDA in very, very simple way, right? You'll get a final result. Automatic EDA is performed by these tools. We have AutoWiz, Detail, Bitrock, right? These are libraries in Python. Pandas GUI is a fairly new package in this area, right? And we can use this to interact with your data in a more graphical user manner, right? You'll get a proper graphical user interface where you can try and write some queries. Though it doesn't give you much flexibility with respect to manipulating the data, but it allows you to interact with the data more in a much more rich format, right? Rich UI. Pandas GUI application uses Plotly as its platform for doing visualizations of your data. And it is very, very, very simple. All you need to do is install Pandas GUI application or library in Python and then start using it. Right? So this is with respect to Pandas GUI, which is a EDA toolkit. It has its own limitations. It cannot allow you to do a lot of transformations or pre-processing, in fact, I should say. But visualizations and all those things can be done using this. Next, when we speak about data cleaning, right, or data organizing, it is a most time-consuming task. Especially if you talk about big data, then this is going to become a little tricky. It is not difficult, mind you. We have certain steps which we already know. For example, we probably might have to understand there are duplicates, right? If I have non-numeric, then I have to convert that into numeric. And in order to do this, we will apply dummy variable logic. If you have NAs, then we try to do imputation. If you have scale difference, then we do scaling. Transformation will be done. Right? If data is not normal, then we try to make the data normally distributed by again doing transformations. Right? So these are standard kind of steps that we have. So it is not difficult. But based on your requirements with respect to data, you will have to choose that appropriate step. And it is going to be a time-consuming task. And unless until you clean, you cannot proceed further. But in order to do cleaning, you need to know what you are dealing with. So you have to explore it first, right? That is it. That is the primary reason why we have these EDA toolkits, right, launched. Now, if I imagine if I have, let's say 40 columns, right, and maybe 10,000 rows. For each and every column, we have to do univariate analysis. Then only we go for bivariate analysis. Only after this we go for multivariate analysis. Right? So we say univariate, bivariate, multivariate analysis, but look at how many columns I have. It's going to be like too much of time would be eaten up. So we can use these readily available EDA toolkits to automate this process. That's the beauty, right? And if I have very big data, then obviously we will have to use distributed framework capability. Distributed framework, the concept says, rather than using a single big computer, one single computer, you interconnect multiple computers and then enable these computers to work together in such a way that the external user can see the experience of dealing with a supercomputer. Right? Distributed framework. The logic is this, where we use clustered computers, a set of computers which are interconnected as a cluster, as a group, and all of them work in tandem together to solve a problem. So if this is the case, then you can achieve parallelization, right? So here we are talking about distributed frameworks like Hadoop. Hadoop is used for both storage and processing. Refer to the recommended videos section where you have Big Data Hadoop videos already given. You might want to learn about this architecture. That's about your Big Data Hadoop, which is the operating system. Like you have Windows, like you have Mac, like you have Linux, Hadoop is an operating system for this supercomputer, which is nothing but combination of multiple computers. You can imagine Hadoop as operating system of cloud, right? Operating system for cloud infra. Now this Hadoop is capable of both dealing with storage and processing. But we are talking about doing EDA, right? Processing alone. And that is done using this big data in-memory cluster computing framework called Apache Spark, which enables us to process the data almost at 100 times faster, right? 100 times faster. So the combination, it's a platform, right? We are not calling it as a programming language, remember. So I will have a platform. On this platform, it's a Spark platform. That means you'll have multiple computers interconnected. On top of this platform, we bring Python's capability to process the data. Underneath, we are calling this engine as a Spark engine. So in able to work with the data, we have a library called PySpark, which will bring in Python capabilities on Spark platform or Spark environment. And using this PySpark libraries, PySpark modules, specially designed for this kind of distributed environment, excuse me, special libraries, right? So we use those special libraries for achieving our things. And one such special library that we are talking about is called as Spark Aura. Now you might think that we have right, everything readily available here. Unfortunately, not the case. Spark Aura is fairly a new library, but the adoption of Spark Aura is being day by day aggressively done. That means this Spark Aura library becomes very much popular and very much robust. There are a lot of challenges right now to use Spark Aura. You'll not be able to deal with Spark Aura in the same way that you have handled some of the toolkits in Python. Okay. Now this is the installation. As I mentioned, it is just a Python package. So pip install pandas GUI. Right? If you go to official page of pypi.org website, you can see these commands given. And in order to use the GUI based application, you have to import show and call show, which gives us a GUI based interface, right? Interface. You can either give a data frame and then say show data frame, or you can just say show and then import the data frame after you get the GUI application. So this is basically the Jupyter notebook. All you are doing is installing your pandas GUI package. Post that, we are importing this library. Okay, let me remove this and put it here. Pandas library, I want to put it here. Okay. So from pandas GUI import show. Done. That's the only thing. First, you install the package. It is a close to 60 to 70 MB package. It will take time. Be patient. Let it install. After it installs, you use this one line function and say show. That's it. We get this pandas GUI web interface, right? So nice. You can see debug, settings, then data frames. Then this is edit, where you can import the data. Say import. You can navigate to the location and just say any of your data set. You just select it, you will get this. So this is basically how we can write your data frames. Okay. So for example, this is my data set, which already has the clustered data. On top of this data set, we can also do queries. Right? We can apply some simple data frame queries. Data frame queries are, right, you can also click on this. It will navigate you to the documentation, pandas documentation. Query the columns of a data frame with a Boolean expression. The query function is used for applying some conditions, right? And we get these Boolean operators. This is example. Comparative operators can be applied here, right? Very simple example is given. So for example, I would say clust, it will prompt friends. Okay, select it. And you say clust is equal to, let's say, 0. You want to only select the data which is cluster 0. Why is this not working? Oh, sorry, my bad, my bad. Double equal to.
I think it's double equal to, Sharath. Yeah?
So it's about your data frame. So this way we write simple queries. We also have the statistics given for this data set. It is object data, so there is the descriptive statistics and distribution not calculated. But for the remaining things, you can ignore this because we have the data set, which is also called empty columns are there. So we can ignore that. But remaining things you can observe, it is integer. So all these statistics are also given. This is a visualization. Now let's say I want to come up with scatter diagram. So I'll select it. Scatter diagram between, let's say, SAT score, and I want to come up with, let's say, top 10. Right? And this is done on this particular query. So what I'll do is remove the query. I'll get the complete data. And colors I want to apply here. This way you get 3 different colors. We can also see box plot. Well, let's say reset. I want to do box plot. And on box plot, why is it not changing? Okay. It's not working. Somehow it is. Yeah, now I think it's changing. Yeah. Okay. So I'll say box plot. This is a comparative box plot that we are doing. So here, let's say I want to check expenses on y-axis. On x-axis, I will put clusters. You can see that, right? The cluster 2 has excessive expenses here. This is the cluster 2, and interactive visualizations are done just by looking at this data. Drag and drop can be done. So this is how we can right, achieve a very simple visualizations. You can also do feature engineering, create new custom columns by merging. 2 data frames can be imported, then you can merge them. You can then pivot them or melt them, concatenate these data sets. All these are some of the examples. You can also save the visualizations in a HTML format like this. You can also export your code. As I mentioned, it uses Plotly in the backend. This is with respect to Pandas GUI, right? Very simple. You can also apply, let me clean the output. You can also apply a data frame. First, you can load the data frame and then say show. You can also do this. Automatically, the data gets loaded, and then you can do the manipulations like what we have seen. Okay, so this is with respect to Pandas GUI. Now coming to Spark Aura. It is also a Python package. All you need to do is pip install Spark Aura. And then from Spark Aura, import Spark Aura. This is fairly new package. Not many things are given. But beauty of this is it is initializing your Spark context as well, or Spark session as well. That means it is initializing your Spark environment, which is a distributed environment. Right? So it enables that. Let me show you. I'm executing this and still taking time. Okay, it came up. So you can see it initialized Spark, right? Spark session has been initialized, and we will be using multiple threads to process this data. Now to read the data set, we can simply use these steps. Or if you are familiar with Spark, then you can use Spark command to read the data. Right? Either this way or this way, we will be able to load the data set. And this, if I try this one, this is a Spark data frame that we are loading. And if I say data frame.show, you will see this data set. A very small data set where I have marital description, sex of the employee, salary of the particular employee, what is the age, and the race. This is from HR domain. We have employee data. So I'm basically loading this data. Automatically infer the schema also. Okay, and then we have header. For example, if I just say Spark Aura dot data, it's not defined. Oh, sorry, my bad. I have to define this and post that. I'll have. So Spark Aura, I have to load this data set into Spark Aura object. Data is this data frame. Okay, I'm loading this data frame. Here we have read that it's a Spark RDD or Spark data frame. And in this data frame, the output column is defined as salaries. Let's say I'm defining that as salaries. This is your Spark Aura object. Now I'll say Spark Aura dot data. It is automatically interpreting the columns, right? Everything is basically being read as string itself, right? So that is, of course, it has to read the data, but it is ultimately talking about string because we have a lot of NA values here. Okay, it is reading that as NA. If I say Spark Aura data dot show, then it gives us the data set. This shows us the visualization, right? So this way we can read the data. But in Spark Aura, we have various additional features. Like it can help us to, right? Once we load the data, it can help us to impute missing data. The strategy can be mean, median, or mode. And then we also have scaling function. It uses standardization formula x minus mu by z to do the scaling of your data. It also helps us to do feature engineering, feature selection by removing certain columns, and right, unnecessary columns can be removed and all that. But yeah, as I mentioned, these are little still immature code. It has to, right, basically enhance a lot. It might work, it might not work on certain cases, right? So just be careful. Try to understand where it is working, where it is not working, and all that. For now, if I use multiple data types in a data set, if I load that column, then it is really tricky to deal with this data set because imputations and all those things, it is done by considering all the columns are of same data type. These are small challenges that we still have in Spark Aura, but this is one of the package which is recently released, and I'm pretty sure it is going to fly off like anything. So keep a close watch on this. All right, so these are the two EDA toolkits that I wanted to talk about, but do explore the other Python toolkits that you might want to use, especially when you're dealing with projects. You might want to do EDA thoroughly and use these packages to do that. And of course, you'll also have nice visualizations to showcase in your report as well. All right, friends. So this is about today's session. Hope you have learned something new today. We have seen Spark Aura. And we also have seen Pandas GUI package. Right? Every day we'll learn something new. All right. Thank you for today's session. And See you guys around. Keep learning, friends. Thank you so much. Good night.